Hi everyone, this is Dr. Fox, and let's talk about the primary lymphatic organs. In this video, we'll distinguish between primary and secondary lymphatic organs, as well as discuss the locations of red bone marrow and the thymus. Lymphatic organs and tissues come in two basic types: primary lymphatic organs and secondary lymphatic organs and tissues. Primary lymphatic organs are capable of hosting both stem cell mitosis as well as immunocompetence. What that means is that the stem cells are capable of division, and the subsequent cells that are derived from those stem cells are capable of recognizing an antigen. The two types of primary lymphatic organs are red bone marrow. Red bone marrow is commonly found at the ends of long bones, so epiphyses and metaphyses. It's also found within the interstitial spaces of spongy bone, of flat bones. The other primary lymphatic organ is that of the thymus gland, which is located within the mediastinum of the thoracic cavity. Secondary lymphatic organs and tissues are locations of immune response. These include lymph nodes and nodules. Lymph nodes are capsular, lymph nodules are acapsular, and an example of a lymph nodule would be a tonsil. And the other is the spleen. Let's start with red bone marrow. Red bone marrow is also known as hemopoietic connective tissue. That's because that's where the process of hemo or hematopoiesis occurs. It's also known as myeloid tissue. It's very abundant at the ends of long bones as well as within the spongy portions of flat bones. And there are two types of stem cells found within red bone marrow. Myeloid stem cells. Myeloid stem cells gives rise to erythrocytes, thrombocytes, the granular leukocytes, and one agranular type of leukocyte monocytes. And then the lymphoid stem cells. Lymphoid stem cells give rise to the lymphocytes, or B cells and T cells. Although lymphopoiesis, which is the development of lymphocytes, may occur elsewhere, such as in the thymus gland, where we have mitosis and immunocompetence of T cells, and within lymph nodes, where we have the expansion of T cells and B cells through mitosis after they have encountered an antigen. The thymus, or the thymic gland, is found within the mediastinum. The mediastinum is that central portion of the thoracic cavity. It is a bilobed structure. So here in this cadaveric donor image, we can see the two lobes of the thymus gland, which have been replaced by thymic fat, and we'll discuss why that is shortly. There are tuberculi that extend into and support the lobes, and they contain lobules within. Now, the thymus is the namesake for T cells. So T lymphocytes are named that because they mature within the thymus. And typically, those cells, as they develop, are known as thymocytes. And they go through a process of maturation, which includes selections. Now, there's both positive and negative selections upon those thymocytes. Positive selection involves ensuring that the thymocyte can recognize an antigen, whereas negative selection involves making sure that the thymocyte doesn't recognize self. What that means is that it won't mount an autoimmune response against the body's own antigens. Now, the end of that process means that only 2% of those thymocytes survive to go on to be T lymphocytes or T cells. Now, within the lobes of the thymus, we have an outer capsule, and we have an outer layer of cortex and an inner layer of the medulla. The outer cortex is where positive selection occurs, and everything that passes positive selection is then moved to the medulla, where negative selection occurs. And at the end of those, we have our 2% of thymocytes, which become T cells. One of the interesting things about the thymus is that it achieves its maximum size at puberty, and thereafter begins to involute. It goes through a process of fibrosis, whereby large portions of the thymus are replaced with thymic adipose tissue, oftentimes just called thymic fat. And this is one of the structures that one encounters as they open the thoracic cavity. It's more anteriorly situated within the cavity. So let's test our knowledge. Where do the processes of selection occur on developing lymphocytes in the thymus gland? A, positive selection in the medulla, where negative selection occurs in the cortex. No, that is not correct. B, positive selection in the cortex, while negative selection occurs in the medulla. That is correct. C, both positive and negative in the cortex. Nope. D, both positive and negative in the medulla. Nope. The correct answer here is B. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to talking to you in the next video. Take care.